this is our chance to get a little bit of question and answer in. You know, frequently you guys ask me questions, and to be totally honest, my answer is always rainbow diet, right? You've heard me say that before. So I cannot help you with these things, but these ladies are experts. So why don't we start with a few questions, and I would like to just comment first, or ask the question first, if the ladies could answer really just about individualities, because I think sometimes people think, well, I can't eat this because someone told me I couldn't eat this. Tell me, Leanne, just your thoughts.
So that's a real concern of mine, and especially since I wrote a lot of the material that's been published by the pharmaceutical areas, and we, like I said at first, we were targeting syndrome. That's what was going on at that time, and that's what they would pay for, but that was the best way for me to get everything covered for everybody. So just because it's bad for another neuroendocrine patient doesn't necessarily going to be a problem for you. So it's not, again, going back to the stripes, everybody's different stripes, everybody's different with symptoms. And so that's what's important to see an RD, see a dietitian. Try to see somebody that can individualize it for you.
Absolutely, so important. So we have some of the questions that have, just so you know, we're also going to get some questions on the internet. So as they kind of come through, Karen will let me know. But some of the questions have been about the availability of recipes and things like that. Actually, I think that could be a really neat service that the Healing Net Foundation can offer on the website. Maybe we can offer some of the recipes that Tyler showed and then give some links, but even maybe some of the recipes developed by the dietitians would be really helpful.
We still have Novartis put out cards with recipes that I wrote for years, and we'll try to get y'all some of that coverage too.
Fantastic.
And then we're going to give away a book that has recipes in it tonight that is available if you're on Zamela, so
Perfect.
for free.
Anyone have any questions here? I think a lot of people, you know, can relate to the things that happened, you know, that were presented. So why don't we hear? We'll start with Chris actually first, since he's right here. All right, Chris, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll apologize. I have many questions, so stop me if it's too many questions.
Stop.
Yeah. So I think the big one is, for me, is varying symptoms, right? Where it seems like one food one day is fine, the next day it's totally not fine. I'll have diarrhea commonly, and then I'll go back to a gassy, bloated stage, and back and forth. And so it feels very hard to track. Now, you throw in, had carcinoid, I don't know, that's part of the other question is if taking lanreotide and I don't have flushing anymore, it means I don't have carcinoid. I don't know. But you kind of throw that in, you throw the enzymes in, and sometimes it feels like such a big mix of trying to, you know, it's the beautiful mind mixing, matching the board, and not really understanding what does what.
Right.
I mean, this is a good example of individuality, right?
It is. So it does. What I would do if you came to see me and I was in practice still, I would have you keep a really, really good food diary. And I would want to know every symptom you were having. I would want to know exactly when you're having your stools. I would want to know where your medicines and what time you're taking them and what you're doing. Because many times it's the medications and when we're putting them in. Again, so if you take a medicine, if you take pancreatic enzymes 3 hours before your meal, it's not going to affect it. So I mean, sometimes it's placement and it's just getting the right tools to you too. But keep a really, really detailed food diary. I mean, food diary is not just a food diary. I should say food and bowel symptoms diary. I want to know everything that's going on with you. And there is for people that don't know about how their stool looks, I told you again, I'm a queen of poop, right? So you can talk about poop all the time, but you need to talk about poop if you're going to see your doctors and practitioners. But there is there's a scale of poop, and Bristol. So I hadn't used it so long. But there's a Bristol scale of poop. So you can look at that and you can put it on your food diary with the type that you had that day. And then, you know, we'll know what's going on with you. But sometimes it's hydration. Sometimes if you're not hydrated right, you're going to have stools, right? Because you're not hydrated. Okay? That plays a big part in that. So sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with food. It has to do with hydration. And hydration is fatigue too. People say, well, fatigue. Well, if you're not hydrated, fatigue is a big thing. And there's some products that we use. Can I talk about product? Just a second? Sure. Okay, so there's a couple of products that come on the market that we use now, kind of in our toolbox. IV hydration is over the counter, and it's a non-sugar, so you can use those. That's good. We've had, and there's a product that was put out called Interade. And it has amino acids that actually can heal the GI tract, and it really works well with leaky gut and radiation type things to the GI tract and imaging to the GI tract right after post-op and things like that. So, and it can be consumed also for hydration, and it's very, very good. Sometimes that's all you have to do. And I think the recommendation is 2 a day. They cost about $5 a piece, but for $10, if you can stop some of your diarrhea, it can be really worth it. People get tired of taking it, but it really can. Enterade. There we go. Enterade. Enterade. And but they ran studies. Dr. Anthony did studies on these with really good results. So this is not an unstudied product. This is a very researched in neuroendocrine product. Okay. So, all right.
And if any of those products would like to support the Healing Nut Foundation, please feel free to support them.
Yes.
And I just want to add, so we actually have a tracker sheet that includes the Bristol stool chart on there, but we also have the time of the day, because sometimes you have like waited too long to eat something. But I also like to look at what were your portions and what did you eat that item with. If you were literally eating the exact same food, same portion, same time of the day, and you were having those symptoms, different conversation. But sometimes it does have to do with what other things were mixed at the same time.
Expertise.
And what was and what was like your mental state? Like, were you anxious or nervous about eating this food because the last time you had it, it didn't go so well? So it's cheesy, but you can try to do deep breaths and count the breath to force your brain to focus on that instead of the fear of eating. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I'd be more than happy to provide that for you and anybody else.
Amazing, right? Amazing, this information. Everyone in this room I know has at some point been afraid to eat food. I know that because I've been in your bellies before. Yeah, I know. Larry, go ahead.
Hi, this question is to all 3 nutritionists and possibly Dr. Liu as well, but it's stimulated by something that Leanne said about a purer diet, which I took to mean, less food additives and things
Well, clean,
like
we
that.
use the term
More
clean a lot of times.
Clean diet, whatever you want to call it. But then in your talk, you talked about some things like butter buds. I mean, that's an additive. Okay.
Yeah, and some of them are. Sometimes we're using something to give some flavor back. It's not for everybody, but sometimes I can't get people to eat, and I have to put things in. And there's a lot of product out there that's still not as clean as we want it. So, and I would never push anything like that. Just there are some alternates.
Options.
Molly make butter, and it was a little cleaner. So there are some products that can help us. Everything's not clean. I mean, I wish it was. I wish we could get sorted. Maybe we will. We're seeing some changes now with some of the food dyes and things like that. So maybe we're on that trend, and I sure hope so that we can get, better, less preservatives and everything we've got. I think that would be very beneficial. But again, it's just trying to see what I can do. Getting food in somebody versus not getting anything in is always better, even if it has something in it that it's not ideal. I still need that nutrition in somebody, right? Yeah. So we use those. Everybody's different, but we have to kind of take the whole picture. That's why we use outpatient dietitians. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Well, no, you're good. I just, because he wanted to hear from others, so you can speak after if you want to. But I was just going to say, our main job is to make sure that you are getting food in your system. That's the first priority. Second priority is to try to optimize that nutrition. So if we can get it from a more fresh, pure, clean food, absolutely we will do that. But at the end of the day, if you can't tolerate that and you can tolerate the butter balls, we're going to do the butter balls. So, yeah. Buds. You got it?
Yeah, I think.
Well, they are. I mean, that's what we call them in California.
Yeah, so it's really just whatever you could tolerate. So some people might find that the more processed foods give them more symptoms, and when they're eating less processed foods, it doesn't. But, if that's not the case for you, then we just want you to eat whatever you can eat, especially when you're in the hospital, you're really struggling. So it kind of goes back to what stage you're at. Are you in more of a healthier state where maybe you can be a little bit more nitpicky with what you're eating, or is it like whatever I can eat, I'm gonna eat? Then that's where you're at that point. So it can also even vary even in one individual's life across their journey.
Yeah, so similar to the first question, I have inconsistency, right? I can eat something one day, but it's fine, and the next day it's not. And in an ideal, perfect world, I would keep a food journal, like you said, a very detailed one. But I have probably 5 of them, head around my house because I've never been consistent. Do you have tips or thoughts on how do you keep and maintain a practice of doing a food log?
I think some people are using their cell phones now where they can use it, do it. There are companies that have, and I think maybe even on the handouts you're getting, that may have a diary already there and you just have to fill it out. And that makes it easier, just so you don't have day one and so you're just filling in the blanks, and that can help. Oh, see that?
Yeah, there's lots of apps nowadays that you can just take a picture of your food. One of them is called Food Diary. It's just one that I know is universal despite what type of phone you have, and it's free. And so you can take a picture and then you can send it to your dietitian, and then we can look at what the image is. You are still going to have to add notes on what you felt like, but I do find a lot of my patients taking a picture is much easier than writing everything down. Yeah.
Yeah, my question is pretty basic here, and that is, I'm getting older, and the question...
You're not getting older, you're already old.
Thank you, Dr. Lou. I should have known that was coming from behind my back. But the question is, very simply, how do I know if I'm malnourished? I mean, I'm getting older. It's always, are you tired? Well, I'm not 40 anymore, so that's my basic question. How do I know if I'm...
Well, in terms of malnutrition, the way we think of malnutrition, it's really just an imbalance of nutrients. So that can actually mean overnutrition or undernutrition, but usually in this population, it's undernutrition from not being able to eat enough. So in terms of how you might know that, there always needs to be kind of like a cause, like have you been eating less? That would be the original cause, is eating less. And then have you noticed, maybe when you look in the mirror, does your face look a little bit different? Is there a little bit less muscles in your shoulders? Oftentimes when we go in and we do our assessment, family members will be in the room, and even if the patient maybe isn't saying anything, family will be like, oh yeah, I've noticed, you look way different. So sometimes it can happen very slowly. We have acute and chronic malnutrition with different kind of criteria for each of those, acute being less than 3 months and chronic being longer. So it can happen very slowly to where you might not notice it, but maybe others have, or sometimes we even will look at pictures that family has of what someone looked like from a while ago, and you can see the difference. So it's just kind of having that, is there something that would be causing this, like eating less, and then kind of if you're seeing the result of that. And that can be in your energy too, even though I know lots of things impact energy, like you said. So it's not always super clear cut, but that can kind of help.
Expertise amount.
Weigh yourself. Get a weight, and you don't weigh weekly. We don't even definitely don't weigh daily unless you're cardiac patient or something. But do weigh yourself, because if you're losing weight for no reason, then that can lead to malnutrition, okay? So just get a basic weight and kind of know where you are. When people come in and give me their weight, sometimes it's off the driver's license when they were, 30 years ago. So get a constant weight. Every time you go to the doctor, you should be weighed every time. Every visit you go in there, you should be weighed. Okay, so we should be catching that too.
Yeah, and those weights are a little bit iffy. So
Home
definitely...
scales, naked.
Yeah, no, that's the truth, yeah. So I'd actually like to take a second, if you all don't mind. One of the things that people worry about, which you hear me talk about all the time, are the chemicals in foods and things like that. I want to introduce you to Sherry Rogers. I've known her for a very, very long time. And Sherry is a little extreme, but she has done something not because of our conversations, but because of the importance of it. Just to share your story a little bit, Sherry. I would love, if you don't mind, just share it.
Okay. So I went to NIH in 2000, right before the pandemic hit, literally in January, and wasn't given the best news. And when I came back, we met again, and because of what Dr. Lou told me about, he would deal with my quantity of life, and that I needed to deal with my quality of life. We sold our home and we moved to the mountains at the base of Weston Pass at 10,000 feet. And since then, I put in an underground greenhouse, and I have an outdoor orchard as well. I researched everything with my health, any medications I was on, looked for natural things to grow that supported that. And now I have a beautiful underground greenhouse where I grow subtropical plants, and all my medicines and herbs, everything is growing abundantly now. And so we eat very clean. We have well water. I breathe as clean air as you can get. And it's changed my life dramatically. When I met Dr. Liu, I was walking with a walker. I was fracturing. I have multiple endocrine neoplasia, type 1, so it's a different form of neuroendocrine disease, but many different growths and many missing parts. And so
I removed some a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, he did. He did. But he dramatically changed my life. So I guess my best advice to everyone is all this stuff is important, but for you to take hold of your own future, create your own story, grow what you can do, even if it's a pot in your house. If it's something that's going to support your health, start it now. I heard you say that when we first got there. Do it now. And when he said that, I'm like, that's what we're doing. So he's a game changer for everybody, and especially for me.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Yeah, no, I just wanted you to, I mean, again, Sherry has really she's come a long way, and I couldn't be happier for her living her life. Here's
Yeah, so is there something specific in terms of dietary, what we should be eating and drinking with ascites she's going through that right now? Is there anything that helps? Or
ascites?
Yes.
Really small, frequent meals. So if your stomach is feeling very full, distended, you can't take in much nutrition at one time period. So doing even like 6, or maybe you need even more meals, or just sipping on liquids throughout the day. So like those oral nutrition supplements that are really dense in nutrition, that can help. So even if it's like sips of that shake very slowly throughout the day, you might not even notice that. That's like drops of liquid every so often, but maybe by the end of the day you drink a whole shake and you didn't even notice. So I think that's something that can really help. Kind of, it's not addressing the symptoms, but it's kind of you doing your best to work around them.
Drop your sodium content, because sodium is going to increase that fluid, okay? And increase your protein. Get more, make sure with those little feedings that you have a protein source, okay? And that's a better guide. Good?
Yeah. No, I was going to say exactly that, actually.
Do we have any more questions? It's been a long day, a long evening. Go ahead, Christine.
So the second question in terms of symptom tracking is that for me, a lot of my symptoms are first thing in the morning before I've eaten, drank, done anything. I can tell what kind of day I'm going to have.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to track back what that means.
Yeah.
Is it the last thing I ate? Is it something that's delayed?
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah, it is hard to track. I mean,
Yeah.
it is.
Or what does that
Just
mean
keep it
typically?
down. Well, so sometimes, I mean, you're going to empty at some point, but sometimes when we get up and your body's kind of used to, did you drink something? Is this before you have anything?
Most of the time it's before I drink anything. I
Yeah.
can tell. I can get up and
You're
it's my
gonna
stomach
get
like,
into-
okay, am I
yeah.
heading to the bathroom? Am I not?
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
feeling a little bloated? Am I not? And
Right.
that kind of tends to see how the day's going to go.
And we see that sometimes the fat, especially for fat malabsorption, or with secretory, the tumor stools themselves, from the stool. Remember, secretory diarrhea, if we didn't feed you at all, you would still have stools. And that's how we know it's coming from your tumor. So some of that's uncontrolled. We know that's tumor growth.
Okay.
Little-
And does that
little of
increase
it,
with,
not all of
like-
it, some of it, maybe that's there. But you're going to have a stool. So really what I do, I mean, if I have someone like you that I know that's every day this is what you do, we just, prepare your day to delay. You may have stools for an hour or 2 hours, and then you're good. Okay, so I'm going to be personal. Okay, I don't have a gallbladder. That's what my thing was, all right? That's my thing. So I get up, so my body is going to start, I'm going to have a stool about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, every day. Okay, that's my norm. And I may have them till about 7. That's my norm. That's how I go. And so I plan my day. I get up, I go to bed at 8 o'clock at night, 8:30, I'm in bed, because I know my day's going to start at 4:30, 4:30, 5 o'clock. I know that I'm ready to go. I can get away from the house. I'm pretty much clean. I've done what I'm going to do. By 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I can get on the road. But that's my norm. So if I could track you and that's what your norm is, I'd plan your life towards your norm, okay? So don't always think it's a bad thing. That's your norm. So we're going to deal with what your norm is, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all too before I have to shut up for the night. So one thing I want to tell you about dietitians, okay? Because I'm really pretty much out of the patient care, and I do this when I can teach you all in one room, and I don't have to take your money, okay? These pharmaceutical companies are so great to give their money away so I can come do this and offer this. But insurance is not going to help you get an RD. You're not going to get a dietitian paid for from your insurance company, more than likely, because the only place we can get paid for, unfortunately, they talk about all the horrible problems we have in nutrition. Well, guess what? Dietitians can't get paid. We can only get reimbursed with diabetic education, basically, and renal. So you have to come out of your wallet, but it is the best investment in your disease you're going to make. So, I mean, if you're spending, and we make, most of us in practice make about $100 an hour. That's what we do. But we usually do it by half an hour at a time. We're going to charge you $50 for half an hour. But if I had to spend 3 hours with you, and I've been known to spend a lot of time, but I didn't have to charge you directly, right? I was in a hospital setting, I let somebody else do billing, and I was kind of laying yap, right? Because they can only charge for one doctor, and so I was laying yap. But there are independent dietitians, and you have to pay for this service, but it's a wonderful service. Feel like it's an investment in your journey. That's your investment. She is more valuable, or he, we have male dietitians, are the most important person on your team besides your physician and your nurses. Okay? And they're vital. I worked in a clinic with my doctors knew that I was faculty for the medical school, but my doctors went and got my salary paid every year because they understood the value of what we were offering. So I was there to see every new patient that came in our doors. Now, I retired in 2017. So you can see how many years gone by. But there's no, don't be scared, or kind of put that in your wallet, okay? This is going to be something I need. It's going to be part of my management, but this can help me, okay? All right.
I agree with everything that you said. However, at Vital RD, we really do get insurance to cover your visits. Good. Yeah.
I'm in Louisiana, and we really.
Yeah, you're all
trouble.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one is Medicare can be tricky. Medicare, you do have to have a chronic kidney disease or diabetes diagnosis. Why that is, I don't know. We're trying to prevent, not do it after the fact, but otherwise we can most likely get your insurance to cover it.
Well, that's good. That's great. That's an advancement. That's much.
Absolutely, yeah.
So Stephanie's one more question, and that'll be the last one. Yeah.
So we mentioned that leftovers no longer than 48 hours, but when we did the bread demonstration, the starter was 6 years old. So my question is that a problem?
I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. I can't tell you whether you're gonna, but it's a trial and error, just like everything else. Some fermented things can issue, but this is such a clean product, and I don't think you're gonna have problems with it. Yeah. I just don't see that being the issue, because it's cooked for one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We kill a lot of things with that.
Well, how much wisdom. A round of applause for our faculty here. How amazing. And a round of applause for all of you. Okay, I hope that was a great program. I hope you guys loved it. Remember, this is going to be on video, and for all of you out there, I hope that this was valuable to you, because we just don't talk about it enough. We talk about drugs, we talk about clinical trials, we talk about all these things, but food is medicine. It's one of the medicines you take multiple times a day. And so let us never forget how important it is. Okay, so thank you very much for attending. So, we have a raffle. We have 5 copies of Leanne's book. Everyone get your tickets out. And the winning numbers are, ready? Number 1. Oh. Yay. Congratulations. Congratulations. Absolutely. These are collector's items. They don't print these anymore. Yeah, I'm
They're
not
out of
kidding.
publication.
Yeah, we probably should work on that. Next number 15. Who has number 15?
We had that covered. We made this so simple. We gave you a number. We gave you a number. Oh, but
Yeah, it's a little green ticket. No 15. Okay, well then we'll raffle that one again. How about number 25? Who is number 25? Okay, so multiples of 5 are not working today, I guess. How about number 31? Anyone have 31?
Some people have left, so that's why.
Oh, that could be, okay, yeah. Anyone have number 31? Okay. All right, we got one out there. Who has number 39? Y'all.
We have one of those books already.
Oh.
Sharon's caring.
So we're gonna we're gonna donate to this. Okay, so I'm gonna make up a number now. I want number 4. Oh. One to the Goins, one to the Goins. All right, and who has number 12? Yeah, actually, she's probably the right person to have it. And we have one more copy. Who has number 21? Yay! Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you for your time and sharing your time with us today. I want to thank, obviously, our panelists for sharing their incredible knowledge. I just hope you can see how important this experience and this knowledge is. I'm not making this up. Look, I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know everything, and it takes a whole team. And so these women and their whole field they're like teachers, they're like social workers. They are underappreciated. But what you just heard is of tremendous value. And so, buying a consultation with them is worth it. It totally is worth it. And of course, thank you to the Healing Net Foundation for putting this whole campaign. Linda, do you have a question?
No, it's inspiring.
Oh, good. Yes, Linda Cox here is a patient of mine, and she feels inspired by it. And I want all of you here, all of you watching live, and all of you watching in the future to feel inspired, because this is step 1 in how we're going to make things better for all of you. We're going to work on the sleeping. We're going to work on the eating. We're going to work on the exercise. And we're going to work on the spirits. I have said this to every single one of you. I slave away and work so hard to take care of you guys so you can do the things you want to do, so you can enjoy life, so you can watch that grandchild grow and graduate. I mean, it's graduation season. It's happening right now as we speak. And that is why I do this, because I want you to do the things you want. Let me worry about your scans. Let me worry about your labs. Let me worry about your surgery. You worry about living your life and being there for your loved ones. None of us know how long we're going to be here. None of us. No one in this room, whether you have neuroendocrine or not, know how long you will be on this earth. So every day, every moment is a blessing. So I want to share, we have gifts for our panelists, and of course, Lisa, where's Lisa Pearl? Get up here, do not hide from us, yes. Entirely, no, get up here, start walking up here. Everyone needs to see Lisa. Of course. Of course. And I want to just introduce, this is Carolyn Faulkner. She's one of our directors at Healing Net Foundation.
Thank you. I just wanted to add something. Leanne Burns gave my husband 6 extra years of life that he wouldn't have had. So if you have any questions about your nutritional health, please make the call, make the appointment, ask for a Christmas gift to see a nutritionist, whatever it takes, because it does make a difference. It really does. So these women are doing amazing work for the neuroendocrine community, and I just wanted to thank them myself from my experience.
Well, thank you all for being here. Again, remember, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Sherry said it, I said it. Start anywhere. Just, if you want to change things and you want to make things better, start now, start today, start tomorrow, start the day after, start. And do the things that you want to do. And, the things you can, people always worry, right? You're worried, oh my goodness, what about this? And what am I going to do? Don't worry about that. It only takes me 30 seconds to figure out what to do. Do not spend your time worrying about that. Worry about your family. Worry about the loved ones. Worry about the places you want to go. Worry about the people you love. That is what's important. All right, friends, be well, be safe. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being here on the internet. Thank you so much. Good night.